What's going on, everybody? Grady here for another video, and today we're going over the 2021 Jetta GLI. Let's go over some of the unique features about this GLI, and then we'll go for a drive. Let's get started. So the GLI is the same treatment as the GTI is to the Golf. Upgraded brakes, upgraded suspension, and of course, some more power. Up front, you're going to find this lovely red stripe with GLI badging, and of course these extremely nice projector headlights. Finished in a beautiful white paint. Coming along to the side here, these very lovely alloy wheels with red brake calipers, GLI badge, turn signal lights in the mirrors. It's very sharp body line, which is a feature of the new Jetta, which I think looks fantastic. Under the hood, you're going to find a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo pushing 228 horsepower, going through either a 7-speed automatic or 6-speed manual, depending on your choice. But of course, this still being based on the Jetta is an extremely comfortable, quiet, and refined car. It's just turned up. Out back, you're going to find a very lovely diffuser, and of course, these dual exhaust tips, a little deck lid spoiler there, and of course, your GLI badge. But overall, it's extremely handsome and conservative design that just turns it up a little bit. And I think that that's going to really age well. I mean, if you look at the GTI, they've looked great for years. So why don't we go dive into the GLI and hit the road. Alrighty, setting off in the 2021 Jetta GLI. Got everything in sport mode, manual shift. Here we go. Whoa! Oh boy. Alrighty then, so what do we have? We have ourselves a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine pushing 228 horsepower, which, I mean, judging by that acceleration, not sure if I believe that, but, you know, hey, you gotta take their word for it, right? This transmission is extremely snappy. I'm using those paddle shifters, like, oh my gosh, it shifts are almost immediate. I've been a manual driver my whole life, and I can make the switch for a transmission like this. It's very nice. Here we go, another acceleration. Whoa! All right, so why buy the GLI? Of course, it's not a very popular car. You know, you don't see a ton of them around. I know the GTI is very popular, but the Jetta offers great comfort, usability, practicality, affordability, and so the GLI just takes that up a notch. And I think this formula is a total hidden gem because it's so much fun to drive. The brake feel is fantastic. I love the metal pedals that it has. The transmission is lightning quick, and you can still get it in a manual transmission, which I think is really cool because you can't do that with many sports cars today. So, oh, there's the automatic stop start. Got to turn that off because this is a sporty car and we don't need to worry about that. But it comes back to why buy it? I think it actually serves a really good purpose because it's a great driving car, but it's also got usable space. The Golf, at the end of the day, is not a very big car. You know, I mean, I'm 6'2", and I've got quite a bit of headroom right here. My legs fit in here very well. I can actually sit behind myself, which is really, really crazy to me. The seating position's comfortable. You don't feel like you're sitting on top of the car. You're set more in it. The Golf is just little, and I know you can be a bigger driver and be able to drive one of those, but it's little. So the Jetta actually offers a little bit more usable space. That sport mode gives me a lot of induction noise. Woohoo, boy! But it's not just about straight line speed, because this vehicle does 0 to 60 in a little under 6 seconds, which I mean is extremely respectable. It's a very quick car, and it sounds good. And so I think people should be looking at these more. I don't know why they don't sell in huge numbers, because you actually have a more sophisticated suspension. You have, fully independent. There's no leaf springs or anything. It's a real solid performance suspension. Great. You can get adaptive dampers and really good brakes too. I mean, these brakes are phenomenal. And it's not in a very big car, so you don't really need much power to go crazy. And if you really wanted to modify it, you could. You can just, maybe put some stickier tires on it and call it a day. Even in this automatic trim, I still feel like I'm pretty engaged in the car. The shifts are immediate. I like how easy it is and approachable it is, but it still sounds good. I love that. Here's changing lanes here. But visibility looking out forward is really nice. I mean, I'm in the sportiest setting right now, and the car is still nice and quiet and refined. I mean, this is not a smooth road by any means. It's quite bumpy, and it's still soaking up the bumps really well. Comparing to the GLI or the GTI, the GLI to the GTI, maybe you're cross-shopping them because you know a lot about Volkswagens, you know a lot about the GTI, and you're wondering why does this exist? And I'll say it, I think it has something to do with a little bit of style. I think I actually prefer the style of the sedan versus the this is all subjective, so please don't attack me in the comments here, but I think the Jetta actually has a better appearance. It's more attractive. It's got more usable space. Here we go, second gear. I mean, it gets up and goes. I reviewed a GTI on the channel a long time ago. It was actually my very, very first video I ever did. So it's kind of a fun comparison to why buy a Golf versus a Jetta. And honestly, I mean, yes, you're going to have a lot of the same experience. You're going to have a lot of the same drivetrain, the transmission. On paper, it's probably, and honestly, the Golf may be faster because it's a lot lighter. But I think that the GLI oh boy, I honestly don't have much to say other than it's just a really nice car to drive. The suspension is really good. The brakes feel great. The powertrain sounds really good, especially with the sport mode. You kind of add some induction noise. I really like this car. I really, really like this car. My fiance is actually looking at a car like this, GLI, and we did a little test drive, brief little test drive for it. And as soon as I got in the car, I was like, man, I actually want to do a video on this because this is a fun car and it sounds cool and it looks good. These seats are really comfortable. This particular version doesn't have the fully digital cockpit, which is an option, and this is a more base model version, so it's a little bit more focused on just the driving experience, not as much the tech. But I will say I've compared some of the other Jettas that have all that technology, and it's very, very cool. I love that you can get the Beats audio system, the big display, some of the more sophisticated navigation, and of course the 6-speed manual that we all come to dream of. But I just wanted to really experience it and talk about it, and maybe not get too into the technical details, but just talk about how I feel while I'm in it. And it's a really nice car. It really, really is, and I'm extremely fortunate that I've had the opportunity to take one of these for a drive, because they're hard to come by, and you may see them out on the road. And I will say to anyone that is driving one, if any of you are, please let me know what you think of yours. How do you like it? How many miles have you put on it? Because it's a really, really nice daily driver, but a little bit of fun. Like if this can be your only car and you just want something that's fun to drive, but it's also refined and comfortable, this just ties the two together. And I think it does it better than the GTI because you have a more usable, it's more usable. Honestly, I think it's better looking. It doesn't look too much like an egg. And it's, you got a nice big trunk. It's still easy to park, but it still offers a lot of really good, and I guess too, you could also mention this, is that the next generation GTI isn't even here anymore, or it's not here. We're only getting the GTI and Golf R now in the United States. So honestly, this is kind of what you got for a new Volkswagen, and what a nice option. I know. Well, the steering wheel looks really good. A little pan shot of that for you. I love the GLI badging. I love, it's everything about it. The red stitching. I love how the dashboard. This is with new Jettas in general. How the dashboard angles towards you. Coming into another turn. Woo-hoo! Whoa! All right, got some twisty turns. Got all that induction noise. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. I love that. I love this car. It's got the paddle shifters. Oh, it's got that amazing induction noise. And it's got some great mid-range. I love that. So much fun. And yes, maybe this isn't the top of the line trim, so it's got the cloth seats, but I actually like it. It's got heated seats, which living in northern Michigan here, very much appreciative of that. I think with the right set of tires, maybe some upgraded brake pads, just for if you really want to get into some, the brakes are very good. I'm just saying for some really, really aggressive driving, you could change the fluid, change the pads, but that's just normal, wear and tear stuff that you should upgrade anyway. Good set of tires, great fluid. You have yourself a pretty incredible car, and all for around a little under $30,000. I honestly can't complain. Let me know what you guys think of the GLI in the comment section below, because this is a really cool car. And I know I kind of just kept blabbering on it, saying, oh, it's great, because it is. And I highly recommend any of you to go out and drive it. Got a bit of an acceleration here. But I just highly recommend any of you guys to come out and drive it, because it is so much fun to drive, and it's so cool. And but if you're driving around, no one really knows what you're doing. But as the driver, that you're having an absolute riot. All right, everybody, stay awesome. Whoa!